It is Wednesday, April 29th. Today we will be working on this extra practice page in our math packet. There's 2 pages left in here. This is a combination of all the stuff we've already worked on. So I'll just run through like an example of each quick. My suggestion is if you have something that you're not quite confident in and you need to work on, I would work in the packet and do those things that I'm not as confident in, so I have some more practice before the test, which we will take on Friday. As soon as you pack it out, turn to this extra practice page. You need a pencil. You need to be ready to learn and practice, and let's get started. So today's our review. We're going to start this extra practice page. I am just going to do 1 or 2 of each type, and if you want to keep working on this, you can. I would just suggest doing the ones you need more practice on. You don't have to do the whole thing. So set A is write the fraction and decimals shown by each model. So like this one, I don't have a whole number because it's not completely colored in. So I'm going to count my fractions first. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is split into 10 pieces. So I have 4 out of 10. If I'm going to write that as a decimal, 4/10, right? This is money. So I have a dime, and a penny. So a dime plus a dime, so 10 plus 10 is 20, plus 1 is 21. Remember, money is out of 100, right? Because 100 is $1. So 21. And then if I was going to write this as a decimal, just like I would write it as cents, 21 cents, or 21 out of 100, 21 hundredths. Remember, set A, you're writing the fractions as a decimal. I'm just going to pick one. Like number 7, I have 5 out of 100. I can't write 0.5. That's not 5 out of 100. That's 5/10, which would be 50 out of 100. That's wrong. Remember, your number has to go in the right place value. So 5 out of 100, this is the 100th place, right? So I have to put a 0 in before that. So 5 out of 100, 5 hundredths. Write the amount as a fraction of $1, a decimal, and a money amount. So first, I'm writing as a fraction of $1. I have 3/4. Well, 3/4 is worth a fraction of $1. So $1 is worth 100 cents. So if I have 3/4, how much is 3/4 worth? Right, 75 cents, right? And now I have to write as a decimal. So just how I would write change, 75. And now as a money amount. So same thing, I'm going to write 75. It's a $sign in front, pretty easy. This one, 2 dimes and 2 pennies. Well, 2 dimes is worth 20, plus 2 is 22, so I have 22 out of 100, 22 hundredths, and put 0 there, 22 cents. Set B, write each decimal as a fraction. Well, I have 236 thousandths, right? Because I have tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So if I have thousandths, that's going to be my denominator. And then I just write this, 236. These are all out of a thousandths. Thousandths, not a thousand. Thousandths, right? I'm going to skip to number 4. So it's out of a thousandths. Where does my 1 end up being? In a thousandths place, right? So it's just 1/1000th. This one, you're writing each fraction as a decimal. So I have 7 thousandths. So I got to have my 7 in the thousandths place. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths. I'm going to do this one, 27 thousandths. So I have to be in the thousandths place. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So 27 is going to have to go here. And I have to put a 0 there for my tenths place. So if I wrote just like this, that'd be 27 hundredths, right? So that wouldn't work. So I have to have that 0 there to make 27 thousandths. Set C, write an equivalent mixed number and a decimal for each model. Let's do number 3 because I like number 3 best of these. So first I'm writing a mixed number. So my whole number is 2. And this is split into 10 pieces. So that's my denominator. And then I'm going to see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5. And if I'm writing it as a decimal, I have 2. And I have 5/10 right there. Set D, I'm comparing. Remember, this is where you just work your way across, kind of like if you were doing things alphabetical order. So I have 2 and a 2, that's the same. 0 and a 5, what's bigger? The 5. So I eat the bigger number. Remember, this can have more place values, but I'm looking at the numbers as I go across. This one, 3.4, 3.40, 3 and 4 tenths, 3 and 40 hundredths. If I put a 0 on the end, remember, it doesn't change the meaning, so this would actually be equal. It doesn't change the value, I should say. This one I have 7, 7, and then I have a 0 and a 0. So now I gotta look at the hundreds place. I have a 1 and I have a 0. What's bigger? 1, so that means this number is bigger. If you want to do that one, you can. This one you're ordering from least to greatest. I'm just going to pick one. Let's go with number 7. Lucky number 7. So I have 3 and 3 tenths, 3 and 33 hundredths, 3 and 3 thousandths, and 3 and 31 thousandths. So remember, I just worked my way across. I have the same whole number for all of them, and I'm going from least to greatest. So now I'm going to look at my tenths place. I have a 3, a 3, a 0, a 0. Okay. So now 3 is bigger than 0, so I'm going to look between these two numbers. I have 3, 0, 0, 3, 0, 3. Well, what's smaller? 3, 0, 0, right? So I'm going to write that as my first number. Cross it out. I have one more 0 here, so that's going to be smaller than 3.3. So I have 3.031. Now I go back to these ones. I have 3.3 or 3.33. Remember, I can add a 0 to the end if I want to make them look both the same. So I have 3 and 30 hundredths or 3 and 33 hundredths. Well, what's smaller? 30. What's bigger? 33. On the back, a couple. A paper wasp is 0.5 inches long or 5/10 of an inch long. A bald-faced hornet is 75 100ths. Oh, you can't see this, sorry. Inch long. And a yellow jacket is 625,000 inches long. Thousandth inch long. Order the lengths of the insects from greatest to least. This is where I'm going to look. Okay, I'm just going to write them down here. So I have 0.5, 0.75, 0.625. I'm going to look at my tenths place for all of these. I'm going greatest to least. What's my biggest number? 7. So which insect was 0.075? That was a bald-faced hornet. So I'm going to write bald-faced hornet. Because it's asked me, it's asked me order the lengths of the insects. So 0.75 is my biggest. Now you look here, I have 5 and I have 6. What's bigger? 6. And that would have been the yellow jacket. And then finally I have paper wasp. Number 9, Morris. I have to do this one because it's a running question. Runs 2 and 25 hundredths of miles each day. Write the distance in mixed number. So I have 2. This is in the hundredths place, so hundredths. And 25 out of 100. These ones, you're just writing the mixed number or a decimal for each, and then the word form. I'll just pick one of each. So you turn this into a fraction. So 3 is my whole number. I have 17 hundredths, so it's me out of 100. 17 out of 100. 3. Remember, if I have a decimal point or a fraction, it's an and. 3 and 17 hundredths. And now I'm going to go from a fraction to a decimal. So for 9 hundredths. So 4 9 hundredths. So I can't just put the 9 here because that'd be 9 tenths, right? Up to that 0, and then 9 hundredths. When I write this, I'm going to write 4 and is for my decimal point, 9 hundredths. If you want to do some more that you might need practice on, be my guest. Go ahead. If you don't, list my Excels. So today we are working at kind of quite a few of them. 13 through, let's do 13 through 16 today. So we're going to start with rounding decimals. This is just like thinking about money kind of. So rounded to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to find, well, it's not always money, I guess, the tenth. So here's the tenth place value. So I have 4 and 22 hundredths. I want to get to the 10th spot, so I'm going to look at the number next to it. With the 2, am I going to run up or down? Down, right? So 4.2. Instead of adding zeros and decimals, you just get rid of the rest of it. So I don't have any hundreds anymore, so 4.2. What is 3/10 round to the nearest whole number? So here's my whole number spot. With a 3, am I going to round up or down? Down, right? So if I'm rounding to the whole number, it's just 0. To the nearest whole number again. So I'm going to look at my 2. The 2 I'm going to round down, so this will be changed to a 4. Let's skip a level. 91/100ths round to the nearest 10th. Here's my 10th spot. It's a 9. You look at the 1 next to it. With the 1, I'm going to go up or down? Down, right? So it's just going to stay a 9. 9/10. Remember, you're getting rid of the rest of the number. So this one, what is 94 1/10 round to the nearest whole number? Here's my whole number. So am I going to round up to 95 or down to 94 with a 1? You're right, down to 94. And that's all you're doing for those. Let's go back and see the next one. So the next one is compare decimals using models. This isn't really an assignment one. You can just look at it quick. It's pretty simple. You don't have to do to 80%. So 0.1 and 0.4, which one's bigger? Obviously that one. It's pretty simple like that. 0.4 and 0.27, which one's bigger? That one. I can just use the pictures to help me out. If you want to do those, you can. It shouldn't take you very long. You don't have to. Number 14, compare decimals on number lines. We are doing. So let's graph 3/10 and 2/10 the number line. So here's 3/10, here's 2/10. Which one's closer to 0? Well, 2/10 is. 9/10 and 4/10. Which one's closest to 0? 4/10. Let's skip ahead. 5/10 and 1/10. Which one's smaller? 1/10. 54/100. 48/100. Which one's closer to 55/100? Well, obviously 54 is. Kind of self-explanatory. You can cruise through those. And then let's do comparing decimal numbers. So now you don't have the number line to help you. It's just comparing them. And we did this in our packet a bunch of times. So which is less than the one shown in this diagram? So I'm going to figure this one out. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87. So I want to find one that's less than 87/100. That one, obviously, right? Less than the one shown here. So I have 40/100 or 4/10. Which ones are less than 4/10? Well, 38's less than 4/10, right? Because I can make 40/100. 3/10 is less. 2/10 is less. All of those are less. This one's showing me 80/100 or 8/10. So which ones are less? Well, 81 is more than 80. 78 is less. 77 is less. 7/10 or 70/100 is less. So you're just going through and you're finding those ones that are less or more, and this is all stuff that we've done in our packet. Which side makes a statement true? Remember, I'm going to start 8 and 8's the same. 2/10, 1/10, which one's bigger? 2/10. Which side makes a statement true? Oh, this is easy enough. I can look at the whole numbers. Is 6 bigger or 7 bigger? Well, 7's bigger. So that's what you're doing for those. And then the last one, I think, which we'll work on today is T16. We'll put decimals in order from greatest to least. So let's do a couple of these because we did a bunch in our packet. Oh, least to greatest. So I'm going to start by looking at the whole numbers. I have a 4, I have a 3, I have a 3, and I have a 3. So I know this is my biggest number. So I'm going to bring it over here because it's a 4. Hold on one second there. Sorry about that. Now I'm going to keep looking. So I have 3 and all the rest of these. So I'm going to look at the 10th place. I have a 2, an 8, and a 7. Well, least to greatest. My 2 is the smallest, then it's 7, then it's 8, right? Greatest to least this time. I have 4s and I have a 5, so my biggest is a 5. Now I look at the 10th place. I have a 3, a 9, and a 1. 9's bigger, then a 3, then a 1. Greatest to least. 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. It's going to go first. Now look at my 10th place. I have a 5, a 6, a 0, and a 0. Well, 6 is biggest, then 5. Now I'm going to go 0, 8 or 0, 9. Which one's bigger? 8 hundredths, 9 hundredths. 9's bigger. Greatest to least. 6, 6, 6, 7. Now look at the 10th place. I have 7 tenths, 0 tenths, 9 tenths. 9's bigger, 7, 9, 0. So this is all stuff we done in our packet. If you want to cruise through that. So just a reminder, today you are working on that rounding one, so 13. You can do this if you want to, you don't have to. This little bulleted point one, 14, 15, 16. And then tomorrow your assignments will be 17 and 19. So good luck. If you don't finish them all today, that's okay. Push it off. Work on some tomorrow too. Or come back to it, take a break, come back to it later. You don't need to do it all at one time.